You ever have one of those moments where someone just grabs your wrist, tells you flat out, you're not supposed to be here, and suddenly it feels like the whole world is looking at you except nobody's actually seeing you? That's exactly how it started for Lucas Soren, 12 years old. Gray hoodie pulled tight, backpack slipping off his shoulder as he's yanked out of the first-class line like he's a piece of lost luggage. Not a person with a boarding pass for 2A, clearly marked, first class, yeah. That happened. The flight attendant, Sasha, didn't bother whispering or pulling him aside. She just did it, right there in front of everyone, and you could feel the air go thin around Gate 18. Nobody said a word, but you could hear it, the mutters, the assumptions probably snuck in as if he didn't belong. Luca didn't protest, didn't even look back. He just picked up his bag and walked off, quiet as a shadow, and you know what? Not a single person stopped her. Not the gate agent. Not the businessman clutching his briefcase. Not even the lady tightening her grip on her purse. Nobody. But here's the thing nobody saw. In Luca's pocket was a slate gray card, no logo, just one simple gold phrase mirror flag, delegate access tier 1. His mom always told him, you won't need to raise your voice. The system will do it for you. He didn't want revenge. He just wanted to sit where he belonged. 6 minutes later, Crestfall Airlines would wish to God they'd never touched the boy with the 2A boarding pass. Before we go on, what would you have done if it were your kid? Now, Luca's mom Vivianch was the real deal. Head of a Quiff Trust, one of those ethics watchdogs you only read about in business articles, the kind that don't make noise, just keep receipts. She didn't care for headlines or cameras. She built systems, changed policies, left a legacy. Even after she died, her house still smelled like sandalwood and old paper, like her presence had a weight that lingered. Luca used to sit by the door of her office, knees hugged to his chest, listening as she sifted through flight logs and ethics dashboards like they were bedtime stories. She used to whisper, "They'll never see you coming." That's what makes it work. She taught him that sometimes injustice doesn't scream, it just settles in quiet, and you have to be even quieter to catch it. A month before she passed, she handed him a gray envelope. No bow, no big speech, just a look that said, only if it's real, only if they leave you no choice. Inside was that card, the one every airline exec in North America dreads. Not because it gives you power, but because it unlocks the truth in real time, right across every data stream they try to hide. She trained Luca to see the patterns, to know what quiet injustice looks like. She trusted him to know when silence had gone too far. Back at Gate 18, as he walked to the last row, he heard her voice again, "Don't fight to be seen. Just make them regret looking away." So there he was, walking the long walk from first class to the back seat 36B, last row, no window, no armrest, next to strangers who barely moved so he could squeeze in. The air felt different, not cold, just dismissive. Nobody checked if he was okay. They just looked away, like he was an error they were correcting. But Luca wasn't new to this, seen it before. Grocery stores, waiting rooms, even school. Quiet kid, hoodie, priority tag. People assumed the problem was him. His mom used to call it the cost of being unseen. She taught him not to fight for space, but to make the space respond. So when he sat in 36B, backpack tight to his chest, he reached into the pocket and brushed the card. They'd moved him, dismissed him, but they had no idea what they'd just activated. He waited, whispered the 6 digits to himself, 46912, not yet, but soon. He watched Sasha laugh with a passenger 2 rows up like nothing had happened. He unwrapped the mirror flag card, slid it into his tablet. The screen flickered. Authenticate breach trigger. One more time. He hesitated, not because he was scared, but because there's no going back after this. He tapped yes, entered the protocol key. Mirror flag active. Monitoring initiated. Nothing happened at first. No sirens, no dramatic lights, just the hum of the engine and the occasional baby crying 2 rows up. But the system had heard him, and it was about to get loud in all the ways that matter. The co-pilot's tablet froze on a weather update. Then a new screen appeared, Sky Ethics Review in progress. At Denver International, a gate agent's seat map blinked gray and then disappeared. In Oslo, where Equify's ESG dashboard lived, Red lines began to flash, seating discrimination ratio up 38% in real time. Mirror flag breach. Severity Tier 1. By minute 4, Crestfall Airlines compliance manager watched all flight data shift to live disclosurino, more hiding seat changes or overrides. Minute $6 to $930 million in ESG-linked capital began auto-withdrawal from airline portfolios. Luca didn't move. He didn't need to. Somewhere in a glass-walled boardroom in Manhattan, compliance officers watched a red line blink, mirror flag protocol active. Which flight? Domestic, Denver to San Francisco. What happened? Passenger ejection from a priority seat. Youth traveling alone. Novedades. Trigger matches full breach pattern. Outside, 3 other airlines went into lockdown review. All data copied to open review. No more hiding. In the last 90 days, 82% of kids under 16 removed from premium seats were black or brown, 91% traveling alone. None of those actions triggered until now. Sasha's crew tablet froze. "What's wrong with this thing?" she whispered. Carlos, the new guy, shrugged. "Mine's frozen too." Luca knew the ground was starting to shake. For the next 20 minutes, everything seemed normal. Passengers sipped sodas, fiddled with headrests, but the air had shifted. Sasha felt it, too like a storm waiting to break. She tapped her tablet. Nothing. Leaned over to Carlos. "What's live ethics mode?" He didn't know, and that unsettled her more than turbulence. That's when she saw him had pulled up, eyes ahead, calm but not cold. The businessman in 2D checked his Finino Wi-Fi. A young woman's app just spun, blank screen. Then the alerts started. Phones buzzed, even in airplane mode. Mirror flag protocol. FAA statement pending. Passengers started to put it together. This wasn't a tech glitch. People looked back, not all at once, but just enough until they all realized the boy in 36B wasn't just some random kid. For the first time since he was yanked from 2, Luca wasn't invisible. Not to Sasha, not to the system, not to the world. And far above the clouds, monitors blinked trigger source cell. Soren, seat 36B, flight 4582. Sasha, hands clammy, walked to the cockpit. The captain opened the door a crack. "We're under protocol review." Triggers verified. Passenger 36B. No further interaction. That's an order. Sasha stepped back, realized this wasn't about one kid, it was about whatever he carried, and it had just changed everything. The landing announcement sounded different. "Please remain seated. Do not disembark until instructed." Tension rippled through the cabin as they pulled into a private gate. 3 black SUVs, government plates. Agents with tablets. People started whispering. "Is this for him?" When the aircraft door opened, the announcement was for Lucas Soren to remain seated. FAA agents boarded, greeted him by name. "We confirm breach, severity category 1. You acted within scope." Luca nodded. No smile, just certainty. To the crew, "This aircraft is under federal ethics review. Full report due in 48 hours. Sasha didn't say a word. Luca declined assistance. Walked off the plane, first no applause, just silence with weight. Reporters weren't there, but the data was, and inside every airline boardroom, panic set in. Who gave that kid access? What does mirror flag expose? Answer: you can't shut down a system built to wake you up. Weeks later, seat 36B was quietly retired on every aircraft running Sky Ethics. That seat just didn't show up anymore. Internal memo: do not assign. The seat became a symbol, a palsy reminder that one act of quiet injustice can ripple through billions. The airline's ethics score dropped. Investors froze funding. The board had to sign the new passenger fairness mandate. Mandatory ethics training, real-time behavior tracking, automatic reporting for seat changes. Long overdue, but it didn't come from regulators. It came from seat nobody noticed, occupied by a boy nobody heard, triggered by silence nobody expected. Luca never gave an interview, never chased headlines. He just went back to his routine, whatever that meant now, after freezing $930 million with a silent card. One day, on a private forum, a short post showed up under the username 36B. I wasn't trying to start anything. I just wanted to sit where my ticket said I could. My mom said, don't raise your voice just to be heard. Raise your standard and make the system listen. They moved me like I didn't belong. I didn't shout. I just remembered what she built and why. This isn't about revenge. It's about respect. Quiet, but it went everywhere. 6 months later, in Washington, D.C., Seat 36B was placed in the FAA Ethics Hall, permanently unassigned. Commissioner Linda Trone said, "We have protocols for everything. Now we have one for human dignity." In airports nationwide, new signs went up. If you see something, say something or tap pass. On flights, when crew passed row 36, they paused, remembered. So before you go, if you were in Luca's seat, would you have spoken up or stayed silent? Or maybe you already lived it, someone grabbed your arm, said you didn't belong. Did you fight loud or let the system speak? Tell us your story. Tell us where you're watching from. And if you ever felt invisible, remember, sometimes the quietest one in the room is carrying more than anyone else can see. We read every word. You're not invisible.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình là mình lên mạng xã hội tìm hiểu những video
Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
After the tree to hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the fence.